Hello and welcome to HBM's Crypto-Corner for Wednesday, July 21st, 2021. We have a few things to talk about, so let's get started. We unfortunately have another passing to discuss. Just days shy of her 102nd birthday, Almasty researcher Marie-Jean Kaufman passed away. She passed away on July 11th. She was a major force in Russia-French hominology. She was actually a surgeon at Moscow hospitals and a mountaineer. Became interested in the snowman mystery in the 1950s. She was a very well-known figure, especially in Russian hominology research. She indeed will be missed, that's for sure. R.I.P. Dr. Kaufman. May her memory be eternal. 45 years ago, there was a sea serpent sighting off Nova Scotia. Here's a report on that.
It was 45 years ago, between July 5th and 9th, 1976, that 5 Cape Sable Island fishermen fishing on 3 different boats on 3 different days had an encounter on the same fishing grounds with a sea creature. It's an experience 69-year-old Rodney Ross has never forgotten.
I was getting like 1 or 2 fish and then everything just died. Like the gulls disappeared, the hags disappeared, and I made 3 or 4 sounds. Back then we hauled by hand, not machines, and nothing. And then I could hear this noise, like a swishing noise, like it was thick fog. You only could see probably 150 yards, probably maybe. And I see this black thing coming along the water, and I kept watching it, and it was just like a hump, probably 3 or 4 foot out of water. And this big hump with these 2 big eyes. And then it swam down by, and first I thought it was a sunfish. Then I called my dad, and I said, "Dad, come out, see what you think this is." He peeked around, he said that's what he said, sunfish. But he was only gone about 4 or 5 seconds. Back he come. He realized it wasn't. He just turned. He was looking right at me. Like about maybe 70, 80 yards. So Dad went up, started the engine. We knew like something was going to take place. So he started the engine, and then it started coming for the boat. And as it kept coming, it kept rising out of water. Last it was about 15 foot. Like out of one, and he just opened his mouth like he was coming aboard. He was after me. Like I suppose he see me moving or something. Anyhow, and when Dad waited he got about 15, 20 yards. He just opened it wide open, and we shot ahead. And this thing, I run up underneath the house, and I turn around and look, and I can see this big body come out of water, and he goes thump. He just clipped the boat, stern of the boat. If we had sat there, we'd have been gone. And I could see it was just full of barnacles and coral, and it had these rows of teeth, like in 2 like sort of tusk-looking things in its mouth. It didn't have like a whale's tail, sort of like a like a codfish or something similar to that. He went under, and we were like dumbfounded. We just stood there, and I remember I said to Dad, what in the frig was that? And he said, well, I don't know. Like Dad had been on the water a lot of years, not me. I only been on the water probably 4 or 5 years, and we sat there an hour. We never even spoke, and it was very quiet. And bye, we heard it again, the swishing noise.
In Southside Cape Sable Island, this is Kathy Johnson for Saltwire News.
So, a very interesting report from 45 years ago of a possible sea serpent. Loch Ness Monster myth to inspire new Scottish musical with environmental message. Very interesting. Loch Ness Monster is now set to inspire a new Scottish musical, which will see the centuries-old mystery brought up to date to explore how climate change is affecting wildlife. Billed as the story of a brave young girl and the notorious mythical underwater creature, Nessie will focus on an unlikely friendship between the creature and an environmentally conscious youngster. Created by Shona Murray, co-founder of female-led theater company Fearless Players, Nessie is expected to explore how the numerous reported sightings of the monster have had an impact on a small Highland town and the threats to the local environment and creatures living in Loch Ness. Puppetry is expected to play a key role in the production. So this is something quite interesting. A musical based on Nessie. Never thought I'd see that. Legend of Boggy Creek. Could there be a better Bigfoot movie? Nope. Article by Nick Redfern. Ask most people to name a Bigfoot movie, and in all likelihood they will reply Harry and the Hendersons. There's very little doubt that the 1987 production is the one Bigfoot-based film, more than any other, to which the general public relates to and has an awareness of. Many people might be surprised to know, however, that more than 50 movies have been made on Bigfoot and other cryptid apes. The list includes The Snow Creature, Snow Beast, Willow Creek, Creature from Black Lake, Abominable, The Sasquatch Gang, and The Wild Man of the Navidad. Ask those within the Bigfoot seeking community for their favorite Bigfoot movie, and the response will likely be a very different one than any of those I've highlighted above. Numerous Sasquatch aficionados have a particular fondness for a 1972 movie titled The Legend of Boggy Creek. What makes the movie stand out from so many others of its type is that The Legend of Boggy Creek is based upon real events that occurred in and around the small town of Falk, Arkansas in the early 1970s. No one knows more about this than Lyle Blackburn, the author of the book The Beast of Boggy Creek and other cool cryptozoological books. Lyle notes that on May 3, 1971, the Texarkana Gazette printed the first in a series of hair-raising reports about a monster that allegedly haunted the woods near Falk. The monster was said to be a large, hairy, ape-like creature that walked upright on two legs, stood nearly 7 feet tall, had glowing red eyes, gave off a rank odor, and occasionally let out a horrifying shriek. Description of the monster, said Lyle, was not unlike that of Sasquatch or Bigfoot, but this creature had a decidedly southern slant in that it seemed to be leaner, meaner, and hairier. So this is just basically an article about the legend of Boggy Creek. Well deserved, by the way. It definitely deserves to be placed in the high echelon of Bigfoot movies. Maybe at the highest level. You guys may remember I reported about 2 months ago that there was a sighting in Ashland County, Ohio. A woman who said she saw a Sasquatch lurking at the periphery of a parking lot at a 24-hour gym. And now, just a few weeks later, and a handful of miles away, something resembling a Sasquatch was reportedly once again seen by a bewildered witness. According to the unnamed individual, the sighting took place on his property in a rural part of Ashland County back on June 9th. Shortly after an afternoon rainstorm, the man set about mowing his lawn when he noticed an inordinately tall figure, seemingly dressed all in black and moving along a tree line on his property. The sighting lasted approximately 90 seconds before the eerie visitor disappeared into the trees. Stunned by what he was seeing, the man recalled that the whole time I was thinking, no one is going to believe me. Due to the figure's appearance, the remote location where it was seen, and the circumstances prior to the sighting, the witness was left scratching his head when it came to identifying the oddity. Who would have been out after that pouring rain dressed in all black, he asked. The man spent the next few weeks mulling over his experience, which weighed on him heavily. I have tried to explain it away, but I can't, he mused. In all the years I have lived here, I've never seen anything like it. The man even went so far as to stage a reenactment with his son, who stands nearly 6 feet tall, which led him to the realization that what he had seen was probably not a person. Since the creature in question was far bigger than his son, it was in relation to the trees and weeds in the area. Ultimately, the witness decided to file a report with the Bigfoot Field Research Organization, BFRO, which had investigated his account and indicated that it could have been a genuine Sasquatch sighting. Coming on the heels of the sighting back in April, some have begun to wonder if perhaps both incidents involved the same creature. Matt Moneymaker of the BFRO observed that the first sighting occurred under the artificial lighting of a parking lot, which could have reflected off the creature's fur in such a way that made it look grayish. As such, he speculated that it's very possible that both incidents involved the same Sasquatch. Either way, residents of Ohio's Ashland County may want to keep their eyes peeled, since it would appear that a Bigfoot may very well be in their midst. Very interesting. In the same county, no less. Finally, I want to highlight my good friend Eric Altman and my other good friend Sean Forker for the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Society, pabigfoot.com. That's their website. And I'll include a link to it in the description, of course. Founded in 1998, an all-volunteer research and investigation organization into the Bigfoot Sasquatch phenomenon. Of course, links to all the stories I talked about today, will be in the description below. And that's going to do it for this week. I want to thank you very much for tuning in, you guys, to the heart of the show. I always say it, but I always mean it. And I'll continue to do this as long as you guys want me to. And hey, until 2 weeks from now, y'all be good or be good at. This is HBM's Crypto Corner.